This is the second part of the series of narcissism, codependence, and confidence. So in May 2022, I was invited by a peer, a very close friend of my younger sister in Darmstadt, to speak on education, ICT education. So after putting together some few slides and preparing myself, at the last minute, I decided to take my sons with me. On our way, that drive to the city, that was like 2 hours drive. It should be a fun weekend for us, so we like to do stuff like that. And I thought to myself, storytelling comes through a bit appealing than just putting up some stiff slides. So I brought up this topic in the car, and we started discussing. And my oldest son, who is very much interested in the military, which is something that is not quite welcome in a sense. I've learned quite a lot in this area, so he loves the military very much. So he learns a lot about colonies, the ant colony, the beehive, and how small organized animal systems, organisms function. And even the society, he talks very much on human psychology and stuff like that. So this topic came up about education. So there was one statement that struck me really, and I really made a decision not to do the slide presentation, but to do a storytelling speaking technique, because he said something like this: you know, the humans have a teacher class. There's a difference between teaching and advising, which we could say that we could go deeper into that in another video. So there's a difference between teaching and advising. So the humans have generally a teacher class because we've lost our natural ability to understand who we can be in a society, because everybody seeks to influence another in one way or the other, pressuring others to be what they don't want to be, deciding on what others have to be, and the confusion is big. So there is so much noise, and even if there is no teacher class, it will still find a way to establish itself, else we will go back to the forest and live like chimpanzees. It got me thinking. So he started explaining something about the ant kingdom. So I never knew anything about the door. There's that particular ant that is born or is hatched to be the door of the kingdom. Let's just say the kingdom, because we're talking about the ant queen here. Everything serves a queen. So there's the door ant with a round shaped head. So all it does is it brings out its head and fits at the door of the kingdom, and that's the only duty it does. So it's a bit bigger, and it's being fed by the worker ants. And then now I got to understand also that some queens also get to carry out this particular duty. Some queens are hatched with a crystal triangle on their heads, and this crystal develops into a heart frame. So the queen generally comes into the entrance of the hive, into the entrance of the ant kingdom, and puts her head at the door so no enemy can enter. All this structure in the ant kingdom, or the ant organism as they call it scientifically, is carried out through the release of pheromones. There are these pheromones that are smells that actually communicate. There's a complex structure of communication amongst the ants. So everybody is born in their position, and everybody develops, and they are fed according to their duties. So the bigger ones are the, so to say, military ants, and you have, as they go, you have the workers, and then you have the gardeners, the ones that feed the eggs and hatch, and they garden the fungi for eating. So it's a complex structure, but the human has developed over this one. Right now in our societies, we end up trying to influence each other with our own ways of thinking. We fit a person in a position and expect the person to stay in that position. If not, the person is simply ghosted. So there is a disharmony of the growth process. The teacher class is there to teach. Not everybody can teach, but the teacher class is designated to ease the growth of humans. So we teach in all fields and make people understand and decide what they want to do and how they understand what they have to do. Advising, on the other hand, is something else. The parents can advise their children in fine, friendly ways and equally teach them lessons in life. Yet, there is also something like the unsolicited advising. Some people just take upon themselves, because everybody can call himself a consultant or a coach or whatever you want to call yourself. And depending on your expertise level, you can say what you want to say. But it depends on the quality of life you finally give to another person. It will not work with some people, yet it will work with some people. So this whole thing is something we can understand, and everybody takes their place in the society in what they have to be doing. So why am I telling you all this? It's all about growth, resentment, and emotional intelligence. Being emotionally intelligent doesn't necessarily make one human better or good per se or bad. It depends on the quality of life you live and the quality you give to the people around you. There are some people in their growth process who are work in progress, like myself. So if we easily get triggered, then it's high time we take some time to think. Are these reflections of myself? So there are some people who are resentful, so they beat everything around them, not wanting to allow people breathe or be who they want to be. Resentment comes in different packages. It's an on and off thing. One time you love, one time you are triggered, and you bring it out into your community and people can't breathe. So being emotionally intelligent can only help in a sound growth process. Thank you for watching. The growth process continues, and it's all about love.